All right. I'm ready.
All right. Well, I just wanted to come and talk to you and learn about you and like what you do and how you get started. So I mean, I just want to hear about your journey. Like, did you go to high school around here? Did you grow up around here?
Yeah, so I went to East Noble. So,
Okay.
yeah, in Kendallville, about 40 minutes north.
Okay. So no college then?
No college,
No
nope.
college. What did you do right out of high school then?
Oh, man. So, right out of high school, I went from, worked at the YMCA, which is funny because I had like long hair and stuff, and whenever they were going to hire me. And then I did aftercare with like the little kids and stuff. And yeah, I just loved kids and like helping them develop it, and it was really fun. But from there, I also was working another job at the street department in Kendallville. And then it was funny, I just remembered when I was telling one of my friends, at the street department, I was like painting all the lines and stuff. And then, but whenever it rained, then the guy who worked at the street department also worked for the cemetery. And so what I do whenever it was pouring down rain, I went and weed eated all the graves. So it's just pouring down rain, and I'm just like weed eating and stuff, and like it's so crazy because at the time it just didn't bother me, and I was like, whatever, man. I was willing to do whatever it took. And then from there, I also was working another job, and then I was doing landscaping. So I was working 3 jobs all at the same time, and then it just started to get to be a whole lot. So I was like, all right. I stopped at the YMCA because I started like falling asleep too with the kids because I'd be working all day. I woke up real early. It'd be about like 3, 4 o'clock, you know, I'd be hanging out with them. Then about the end of the day when the parents started picking them up, I'm like, all right, let's watch a movie and just chill out. And I'd fall asleep, and I'm like, all right, I can't keep doing this. So, yeah, I ended up leaving the YMCA and went to a couple different jobs after that, but yeah.
So did you get into I saw you got into car sales, right? You were a car salesman. And then how did you get into real estate eventually?
Okay, so well, I'll tell the story about car sales first. So that I just kept jumping from job to job, and I was working. It wasn't like I was like quitting and leaving the job. It was like more I was working so many jobs at the same time. Landscaping was the main one that I was at, but it's seasonal, and so then I had to find another winter job all the time, and I didn't like to give up jobs because I was like, oh man, I can do both. And so I always tried to do 2. So I went from being a mechanic, working in a factory, doing all these different things every winter. And I remember one time I went down to Texas even and worked down there for 2 weeks. And a funny story about that was actually I was so poor that I was like getting $50 per day for like food allotment. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to eat. I'm just going to bring protein bars. And so, dude, all I did was eat protein bars, these like really cheap ones. And, dude, it was horrible. Wow. But then that winter, actually, I applied for a trailer factory. And, you know, I came from a family that was very, you know, just hardworking. And they're like, oh, yeah, go to a trailer factory. That's going to be like the best place you can go. You make $1,000 a week. You know, life will be great. And then so I went and interviewed. They're like, yep, I think you can do it. I'm like, I know I can do it. And then I went to interview. Actually, I got a phone call right when I was about to say yes to them. I got a phone call from it was Hyundai, Glenberg Hyundai. Rob Carr, I actually just interviewed him probably about a week and a half, Tony and I did. And he called me. He's like, well, which one would you rather do? I'm like, well, shoot, I'd rather be a car salesperson. You know, dressing up nice, talking to people, that sounded like a whole lot more fun, but I didn't even know I had any like sales skills at all. So then I got into sales. From sales, it just shot like up. It was insane. And started doing really, really well. Like got salesperson of the year 4 years in a row. Just like really worked my butt off, and just got. I think I had like 33 salesperson of the months out of like 50 months that I was there. So it was a lot. And then another one of my friends noticed, and he was like, "Hey, have you ever thought about flipping houses?" And at that time, or a couple years before that, Tony actually told me to read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. Have you read that?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep.
That was the book that changed it for me. And so then read that book, started listening to Bigger Pockets, learned for about like 2 years straight. Then the guy reaches out to me. Have you ever thought about flipping houses? I'm like, yep. Been thinking about it for a long time. And so we're like, all right, I want to do it. Let's partner up. I'm like, sounds good. And then at that time I was like, well, if I'm going to do it, then I want Tony to be involved with it. And so we all just met up one day and then freaking flipped our first house.
Went up from there, right?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was crazy.